When it comes to addiction and intervention, what works and what doesn't? We've assembled a group of people in recovery and law enforcement to explore that very question. Alan, one of the things that I had spoken with Diane about was the early intervention program and how that program kind of keeps someone in a kind of a cocoon with accountability. The early intervention program is something that came out of our office. What was the kind of the idea behind that being different than drug court?
Well, and that's kind of the question I was thinking of when you were reading the intro, is that there's different programs for different people. Not every program is made for a certain person. The drug treatment court we have in circuit court is really for folks who have struggled with addiction for a long period of time, who may have been in the criminal justice system for a long period of time, and are basically facing a decent time in jail if they don't attempt treatment. The early intervention program kind of comes along at the other end. It's somebody who is not as involved in the criminal justice system. It may be a situation where this might be their first or second offense. And the idea of the early intervention program is to give them an opportunity to keep their records clean so that they don't have a criminal record that may come back to haunt them if they apply for a job or something of that nature. So it's on the other end. The idea is that, listen, if you get into the early intervention program, if you continue with the treatment, if you continue to test negative, then at the end you can have the criminal conviction removed from your record. So there's various types of treatment for different people.
Diane, so one of the blessings of some of the diversion programs we have is having that accountability like that. I know with your daughter, she was able to benefit from the program where at the end of that, one of the things that we do is there's an expungement at the end of it. Is that something that you knew about prior to when you had gone into court that day?
No, I didn't know until that day that we went to court with her, and knowing that was put on her, that responsibility, and it was helpful to her, but making her accountable. And I think that was something that got her to where she is now. I mean, everyone, she was responsible for herself, but there was people following up with her to make sure she stayed accountable to the commitment and to know that she had that to look forward to the end. And but what I do find too is at the end, it's their responsibility too to go do the expungement part themselves too. It's not something that just drops off. So again, even when they're done, they have to take that responsibility to do that part of it so they can go on with their lives. And I think it was a good opportunity for her, and it worked for her, and hopefully for others.
Mandy, when someone comes into the detention center and maybe they are seeking treatment and looking for a place to go, but they don't have insurance, they don't have any resources for places to go, are there avenues you guys use to kind of help navigate that? Like, do you have someone in there that helps them maybe get insurance and get all these things that they might need to further any treatment?
Yeah, that's really what the health department does with their evaluations. If they have insurance, it's helpful, but if they don't, they know a lot of places that will take them without insurance. And really, sometimes if we can't get anything there, then we call you and you help with the scholarships for them. So there's a lot of opportunities for people. I'd say probably it's 50-50 on people who have insurance and that don't. And we still get, a lot of people out to treatment. Right now, the people we have in outpatient treatment is about 43. And when you consider we only house about 180, that's a pretty big part of our population.
Yeah, it is. Brandon, when you were at the end and wanting to get treatment, did you have options like that? Did you know different places to go? Did you have the insurance? Did you have the financial means? How were you able to get into treatment?
Somebody helped me. Luckily for me, I was still on my parents' insurance. If it wasn't for that, I had no idea what I would have done.
Yeah.
But there are options. I mean, also for me, I went to pretrial services. You were talking about accountability. That held me accountable for 3 days a week.
Yeah.
You know, and outside of that, getting into recovery, the meetings, and calling my sponsor and doing step work and things like that, that really held me accountable for a very, very long time. Still does.
Yeah, I know it does. I see it. We have about 1 minute left. So if each of you had one thing you could say to the viewer that that might be helpful if they are seeking some kind of help, what would that one thing be? Doesn't have to be one word, just one bit of advice.
I guess my advice would be don't be afraid to reach out. You're not alone. There's a lot of people who are in the recovery community who are out there to help you, and they want to help you. Like Brandon talked about, Tim's talked about. So don't hesitate to reach out to people for help.
I agree. Educate yourself and learn where the help is, and go for it. And don't be ashamed, and don't be embarrassed, and don't stick to the stigma that's usually attached to it.
Yeah, I had to put my pride aside, my ego aside, and reach out for help. And luckily, there was people there to help.
We have a lot of resources in this county, and when I start going to other counties and stuff, I didn't realize how lucky we are here. But if you reach out to the health department and you reach out to some of these other resources, they're here and they're available.
Yeah. Well, we want to thank each and every one of you for being here and spending some time, and hopefully somebody will hear something that they can get the help that they need. Early intervention can identify the underlying issues and triggers that allow addictions to build. By taking measures early to prevent its growth, lives can be saved.